stuff too. Like it's been. Yeah, when did you get on Substack?
About a month ago now, almost just under a month now.
Nice.
Dude, Nick is taking off like a rocket.
Good.
Yeah, it's been fun. I had a job in tech for a while. Then my role got eliminated in a merger and acquisition. It happens. And it's probably been one of the best things that's happened to me. Like,
Oh, nice.
got out of work. I mean, I'm still looking for work or a more permanent way or Substack. If y'all want to become paid subscribers, I'm open to that too. I do the NPR model just like Lawrence does. And Fred,
Dana,
I don't know if you
get my lovely
and
partner in
Dana,
crime.
Fred, do you do the NPR model or do you kind
I
of?
think I think it was like I went by the Substack thing and then I just lowered it. And so
Yeah.
I'm like really terrible at like all the like monetization stuff and just like whatever. And I think
I'm
I still
trying
have
to
like
learn.
I have like founding members, but it's really just you just get like an attaboy from me. And it's I the value is terrible. Like
Well, Frederic denominates his stuff in like New Zealand dollars or something. So
yeah. As like, yeah, it's just I don't know. I want to go. I think I at some point, like I didn't even want to monetize it at first. Like I just sat out. I wasn't even gonna do any live. It was just writing. And then I think like I got like 3 pledges. And like it was permanently like it was after like 3 months I got like 3 pledges. And then Substack was like, you should consider taking these pledges. And I was like, no. Come on. Like,
nobody wants to pay me.
Money for nothing and fix for free? What?
Right. And so and then so finally I was just like, well, okay. And then in true me fashion, I literally wrote a post about how I was a hack who was going to take money for pay now for my writing.
Hey, why not?
And I did it in screenwriting format because I'm that pretentious. So it's just like it was a conversation with like Substack that was just like, hey, you should monetize it. Like, but I really don't want to, because that's going to change how I write. Yeah, but money.
But
money does have its uses, I suppose.
I don't know if you're a gamer, Nick. If you ever played Fallout New Vegas, right?
I did play New Vegas a little bit, but not.
And
I am a gamer.
I imagine Substack was like Yes Man, who is trying to remember who the voice was from the Kids in the Hall, and he's like, "Hey, you should monetize your platform, buddy."
Right. Buy a Nuka-Cola and monetize your words.
Get your bottle caps here.
Right.
I think I did the first live. I think the first live I ever did was off the cuff. And it was just, I was pissed at Schumer. And that was when he caved on the CR when he said, I think it was like, he was just like, you do not have the votes, Republicans. All right, well, fine. We're going to just, we're going to blame you. Then you do have the votes.
Yeah. And
I got mad and I was just like, man, I'm going live. I'm a rant.
Yep. And now we're in the situation where because of that stupid ass fucking fold, they get to do rescissions on the budget bill and take things away like NPR and PBS because Sesame Street is dangerous, I guess.
Right.
Teaching people how to learn to count and empathy is bad.
No, Nick. You see, it would have been bad if the Democrats had a spine and stood up to the Republicans because
I forgot.
They might have gotten an angry email from Mildred in the Midwest
in Topeka, right? They wrote a strongly worded letter.
They might have upset.
Schumer's good at strong letters,
right?
They might have upset this mythical center right. That's one independent. That's one day, maybe, possibly going to vote for the Democrats. I mean, it would have made their base happy, like me. and we would have backed them, and they would have energized us because we're like, cool, we're ready to fight fascism. Can't do that. No.
Right.
We got to chase this mythical center.
It might have scared somebody in a diner in like Peoria,
some guy wearing an old Carhartt, that's cosplaying as a farmer.
Ding, ding, ding.
It's like soy boys.
Yeah.
I've started calling them soy boys now. And I really want to get it out into the sphere, especially the manosphere side, is calling people testicles instead of calling people pussies. Because I think it's a lot more impactful, because testicles are weak and soft and you can fucking crush them with
real. It's that old Betty White quote.
But a pussy puts a baby out.
Right.
That thing pushes a baby out. My testicle ain't doing that shit.
Betty White had that quote about like, pussies can take a pounding. Pussies can handle anything. Testicles are weak, and like you graze those fuckers and everyone and you cry.
It's why it looks like
I'm okay with it.
It's why it looks like the Sarlacc on Tatooine.
It's the worm from Dune.
And now that we've established our nerd
cred,
nerd pedigrees,
mean, you couldn't tell by the Star Wars figurines I have. And
yes,
I've got a Ninja Turtle up there. I'm a nerd, man. That's my life.
Like, I'm telling you, at this point we'd go, ladies, I've got a VHS copy of the original trilogy before the special edition that you can still see like where the mistakes were made in the VX on Empire on the Hoth scene, and I can point this out to you. Which is like,
you'll see like the old shadow masking they did when they were flying through space.
Yes,
we laugh about it, but my oldest brother wore through a copy of the VHS of the original 3, and then my middle brother and I wore through a second copy of the VHS until our parents finally got the DVDs, because they're like, we're tired of buying VHSs that you guys keep wearing through.
Dude, I had I had the VHS, and then it's like I literally bought a laser disc just for that, just so I could get Laserdisc Star Wars. And then,
did you ever do the Betamax players?
So it's funny. My parents were like too cheap for Betamax, but I remember that. Right. I remember going into Hawaii, one of the first. I live in Kailua, and I remember going in there. It was like one of the first places you could rent, and they had it split. So it was like one side was the Betamax, and one side was the VHS, and you kind of saw the technology, like one side losing because the Betamax kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller, right. And the VHS, it was like encroaching on it, and so eventually everything just became VHS. But I had a friend who had Betamax. The only problem was like his dad was, let's say, one of those that had the Betamax in the box in the closet.
That's apparently why VHS won, because it was cheaper to make porn on VHS than it was on Betamax.
It was.
And so people bought more VHS players than they did Betamax players.
They did.
Hey, you got to have a reason.
Right? The reason we have VHS, porn.
The reason we have the internet, porn.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And that's the early internet. It was flash videos and porn.
I wouldn't know anything about that. I am a good Christian soul.
I wouldn't know anything about that either.
No.
I was
I've heard of this
when the internet was happening.
I've done the research,
I've looked into it.
Purely in an academic standpoint.
Badger.
Of course, you could call me young Goodman Frederic, Do
you guys remember the video of it had like the French accent, and it was like about the asteroid coming in to destroy the Earth, and it freaking turns around, and the French were like, "Oh my God, le tired, fire the nukes, but I am le tired."
I totally remember that.
Oh, dude, heck yeah, man! Like I am
world and stuff.
Heck yeah! So,
and if you're in a red state like me, do you? for experimental purposes, you may not know about this. Do you get the age verification pop up when you travel to certain sites on the internet?
In fact, I do. I have seen that before. It's an interesting feature. I've noticed that
Mm-hmm.
because of where our internet center is based out of, Texas, we have to follow their regulations on
Yeah.
things, and that's very interesting.
Yeah, I may have learned everything I know about VPN.
Also, if you just go on, I wouldn't know this for any other academic reasons, but you can just Google it.
Right.
And then
Right.
it gets around the age verification somehow.
Really?
I don't freaking know how it works.
It's magic. It's that Google magic.
It's magic. Google is weird. But I'm not recommending it.
Right. I've only heard. I'm not one to gossip, so you didn't hear this from me.
Yeah. And I have to say, so this morning, Fred, I'll show you my shirt, Fred. It says, when one member of the party is attacked, we all roll for initiative. So I forgot I was wearing it. And I live in Arkansas, which isn't the bluest of areas,
so to speak.
And, I got 2 direct compliments from it today from people. And I got a Substack subscriber out of it.
I think I want to
some dude and I talked about it.
Nice.
I think I want to give just a special behind the scenes, since Nick's here and we have 32 people here. So I'm going to take this real quick and I'm going to make you like super jealous and like, so if you're a role player,
okay,
right? Look at this. Look at all that.
Oh,
look at that.
Damn.
Look at that.
Oh, that's like porn in itself.
Oh yeah. Well,
Frederic,
I'm not done.
damn, man.
I'm not done.
I'm learning things about you.
Look at this. There we go.
Wow.
Yeah, look at all that.
I have a 40-gallon tough box still full in my storage unit of board games. I'm a board game person.
Nice.
And then this is my library. Like, so I'm still setting it up. So this is philosophy, and then this one is history, and then this is kind of a literature mix. So
I need to not show any of this video to my wife. She'd fall in love.
Frederic has that effect, man. He's got that effect on women. I can tell you. It's
not me.
The hair and beard and dropping knowledge bombs.
Since we were talking about D&D earlier, with Walter. Oh crap! Did I drop it? It's on top of all my baseball cards from when I was a kid.
I got those too in the closet.
Because they're worth.
Yeah, everybody had. You got to save those because they're going to be worth something, and they're not.
Yeah,
worth
they're going to be worth something.
Because everybody saved them.
Yep. Somebody's going to buy them from me. I just know it.
100%.
But because you're showing off a little,
you got to.
I used to paint minis.
Oh wow!
And so I painted this guy.
Nice.
Very nice. Look at that.
The iridescent shimmer going on. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
All of the stonework and stuff underneath.
What is that? What are they? Is that a sapphire dragon? No.
No, I think he's a worm.
Yeah.
And I painted him that way, but I think it was supposed to be like a red worm or something.
Oh, okay.
But we used to do mini role play or D&D games. So this is my character. He was a blood hunter. He was basically a witcher. But instead of potions, he had lycanthropy. So I painted both the character and the werewolf mini for him.
Nice.
I've got pictures and I'll post some of them sometime.
I almost always play either clerics or paladins, and then they all end up being like Captain America 80s action hero-esque, They all end up being like Jack Burton in the sense of like, man, aren't you going to kiss her goodbye? Nope.
No.
I always played clerics, but in video games these days, I always play tanks. Like I always end up going for like the buffest, tankiest tank that ever tanked, kind of thing. I'm
the
gonna
biggest
die
bear
for the
you get.
party.
Yeah, man, tanks are fun because then it's just
Tanks
like
are the best.
somebody needs to charge the line. It's like, let's do it, dude. Let's go. Like,
I
always
love
wanted
day to die.
I always wanted to do a D&D game where I could be a orc bard who didn't know how to sing or play music, but had only maxed out his charisma and rage. And so it was more, you were good at music. I would just threaten you into thinking I was good at music until you gave me money. So it was an extortion ring, but I mean, who's going to stop a giant orc with a friggin' lute in his hand? Who's going to beat you with it?
Right. With a million charisma.
Since we're
with
doing
a million
this,
charisma, telling you how fun it would be for you to get beaten too.
Since we're absolutely nerding out, so I got a story for that. So one of my favorite characters that I played in a campaign for like it was like 4.5 years, right? This was like hardcore in college in my 20s. He was a fighter, like a dwarven mercenary fighter named Drungar Warax, right?
Nice.
And eventually, like when you play that long, it gets towards homebrew, right? And it's like, we had all these extra rules for like scarification, all this other stuff, blah blah blah. And he got like he got hit in the throat and so he had this nasty scar, and it was like, all right, it damaged your voice, and I was like, all right. And so but it made it more gravelly. So I said, can he sound like Robert Shaw from Jaws? Right. And so eventually, like, we got so high up, and we're in like the 20s or something, and it's just like, dude, you gotta dual class. We're all gonna dual, blah blah blah. I was like, I don't know what to dual class into. He's like, the DM's like, you can do whatever. We're just gonna do homebrew, whatever, blah blah blah. I was like, I'll think about it. And because I got into the Robert Shaw stuff, right? Drungar would get drunk in taverns, and he would start telling people the stories of his adventures, like Robert Shaw in the Indianapolis speech from Jaws. We went down into the dungeon, pitch black. Even the infravision couldn't see anything. Thick as night soup. We could hear the kobolds scuttering behind the stone. And so, and one day the DM goes, "Your first level bard." I was like,
"Yep,
okay,
that's it."
All right.
So that's why. So he would go into the bar and I roll charisma, and he would I would have to tell a story, and I would he's like, because the thing with my character, I was the one guy in the party that didn't want anything. We actually made up a house rule called the Drungar rule, which was you had all these people that would save up and they'd buy castles or whatever for, like their characters. And my character, no matter what it was, I said, okay, I want you to roll a D. We got to where it was like, I want you to roll a D10 and then roll a D4 modifier. And then that's what money he has left. Right. And there was a percentage chance. It was a certain percentage chance he'd actually owe somebody some money, and the DM loved it. And so he would just randomly put me somewhere, and it was usually after because the moment the adventure ends, Drungar, I was like, I'm going to the fest hall, I'm gonna get the women, I'm gonna get this, da-da-da. And he would go crazy, right? Because it was like, he's like, man, we just survived this dungeon. Woo! Everybody else is like, I'm gonna take it to the bank, and then we're gonna convert this, and then that way, when I get a castle outside the land, then I can no. Drungar's just like, where the women at? Where's the meat? Where's the money? Come on, baby. And so he would do that, and then I was always broke or drunk, and that would usually end up leading to the next adventure. And so they call it the Drungar rule, where it's like, yeah, whatever the Drungar rule is this week, we're going to be going on that adventure. So, so my character always ended up being the opening, right? Whatever it was, because the DM just started using it, going like, okay, it's like,
I love when DMs play off it too. It's so much fun.
Oh yeah, and it just started with me. It was like, I'm gonna do all this. Is like blah blah. It's like, how much money you're spending? I was like, just take whatever you want. Like, doesn't matter.
and I was the nerd in your group who was like, I'm going to invest in an exchange traded fund at 5%, and yeah. So
the guy who was playing the wizard was like, he at first tried to get Drungar to invest in whatever he was trying to do, and Drungar flatly refused. And so it was the human priest who said, listen, like they tricked him because they said you got to go up to Drungar and ask him for money and pretend you're broke and then take it and invest in it. And so so the wizard would come up with Star Story. He's like, man, I really need to get this component for the spell. We just got paid. Could you give me like 100 gold? Oh, of course. Yeah, here you go. And he just give it to him, and then he'd go party. And so eventually, like, that was the only way he got like a retirement fund, which he
nice.
So he's just like, sure, it's like, we're brothers. Like, yeah, take it, And he's like, you need any more? Yeah, there you go. He's like, well, I could you go for 1,000. He's like, I'll give you 200 because I need the rest. So yeah, that's how that's how I ended up playing a bard. It was just, I had a dwarf that would tell stories like Robert Shaw and Jaws.
Our group was pretty lewd at times. We made sure none of the kids were in our group.
Oh yeah.
Because we already talked about my guy a little bit. He was a witcher who turned into a werewolf. My buddy was a samurai, and nice. So it was a bit of homebrew stuff going on from the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
I got a bag of so I started out as the DM and I introduced the story and then I handed it over to somebody else because I was like, I don't want to tell the story. Somebody else is better at it. I want to play more. And the story did great. Yeah. But we ended up slaying an ogre one time. And because my friend was lewd as shit, he decided that he was going to cut the ogre's penis off and wear it around his neck as a trophy. The problem is things decay in D&D. Like, they don't just not decay. It's real. It's kind of real-ish. I had a bag of holding, so he would put it in there until we needed it during a fight, and we would actually take a turn to roll and have him pull it out and hit the enemy with it during the middle of a battle. we got a little drunk while doing that.
Why do I feel like there's a D&D meetup in our future?
Dude, that would be awesome.
Like there should be. We should just live stream a D&D.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Dude, honestly, we could do the Substack's longest live stream of just like us and some other folks getting together somewhere
playing D&D, right? Yeah. Like, totally. Like, we could have a Discord invite. I would be down for that.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
That would be so
fun. Like that, dude. I've been playing since I was about 7 years old. So 41 years. I say, like, role playing and Dungeons and Dragons has probably been the longest consistent thing I've done over my life. Right?
Yeah.
I've been doing it since I was 7. Back then, it was like, for anybody who grew up in the 80s, like, what was your first character? I played a barbarian named Conan. That's my first character. It's like, yep.
See, I always name my characters after a book series I really liked. I found an author named Sarah Douglas. She was an Australian author. Put out a set of trilogies, 2 sets of trilogies, and then a follow-on trilogy. I don't even know if she's alive anymore, to be totally honest. It's hard to find her books. But it was a series called the first trilogy is the Axis trilogy, and then there's the Wayfarer Redemption trilogy.
I think I've heard of that one. Yeah.
And so it's a set of books about, there's 3 races on a planet. There's human, Ikari, and more of like a forest, somewhat in the middle of the two. One is based on land and very much a druidic based society and earth, like living in harmony. The Ikari are angelic. They have wings. They their magic is through singing and their voices, and they create and like, I grew up, I went to school for music. I took voice lessons. Like, these books like influenced what I wanted to do in life. I always wanted to have like a giant set of fucking angel wings coming out of my back. Because I was like, yes, I want to be them. They have huge ass long lives. They live like they're supposed to be immortal. But it all represented the whole diaspora of like human race and then getting together and building a society and then it all collapsing. But I always name my characters after one of the two brothers. There was Calum and Dragonstar. They were one. Calum was the oldest brother, or Callum. He was the oldest brother. He was technically like the star son, which is was supposed to be the prophesized ruler, but he wasn't. It was actually his younger brother who was. And his younger brother knew it, but nobody else did. So they took all his powers, and there's this whole story about the redemption arc to get to saving basically the universe from being destroyed by darkness. And sounds a lot like what we're going through. And hell and evil and all of the things that just kind of suck. But it got me into music and stuff. And and I always name my characters like Drago. And I was like, yes, I'm gonna be like this ranger who's a little bit seedy with, I'm just gonna stab you in the back sometime. Like I might stab your kidney and take all your money, even if you're my friend. Just watch out. And it was
we're
I
taking
still do
notes
it
for this upcoming D&D game.
like I play Diablo. Like Diablo has been one of my game series because my computer science teacher in high school, her son worked on Diablo 2. And so there was a big ass Diablo in our computer science lab at school, and it was so cool.
I used to play like the former military, like paladin, very honorable, that kind of thing. Like samurai. I grew up in Hawaii, so Japanese culture was like, And then as I DM'd for a while, and then I started writing, and then I can still play those characters, and I still do. But what I learned, what I really enjoyed later, was playing the face character. Was the one that was really high charisma, that and so I purposely went like the other direction, where it's like I didn't have any combat skills. Everything was social. Everything was like negotiation. And so I was the fast talking guy that could get people out of stuff, or, and it was just, and so I've really enjoyed much more. And that kind of came about when I had an NPC hireling, and he was supposed to do that. And so instead of playing the iconic stoic, warrior, it was like the DM was like, look, you play your hireling. I don't want to play him. You do it. I said, okay. And so then I found out I had much more fun playing the hireling than my main character. And I would switch off like, he agrees. You agree, right? My character. See, he agrees. So,
what is it? Did you guys ever play Dragon Age? Wasn't like charisma and slick talking one of the skills in Dragon Age that you could level up so that you could literally avoid some battles entirely?
Yes. And it's funny because I love getting in groups where I can do that, and the DM lets me, or the DM or whoever's running it lets me roll with it. And the combat tanks are always, the twinks are always so mad. They're just like, but I wanted to kill stuff. I'm like, but I didn't want to spend 3 hours rolling dice.
Right.
So let's go.
I didn't want to kill stuff.
Yeah. It's like, boy, we didn't kill anything and we got paid. What's wrong? Like, this is great.
Yeah, I didn't waste any of my health potions. What are you talking about, man?
It's like, we're ahead. It's, well, it's like, yeah, but I want to get in the fight. It's like, okay, fine. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to stay over there. So
I'll hang out over here. I'll send the NPC in to fight this time.
Yeah. So probably if I'm telling you now, if we run a game, I'm going to be the face. Like, I'm just calling it. Like, I'm just going to end up being the face. So,
cool. I'll be the tank.
There you go. You be the tank. I'll be the face. I'll be the face character,
I'm just gonna shoot people with a bow. And maybe stab you in the back a little bit.
It's like, look, you're either going to be pincushion or this guy's going to freaking run you over. Or we could talk, it's like,
yeah, my friend over here is going to shoot you. You want to talk to me instead?
I guarantee you I'm the less prickly option somewhat.
Your purse will stay attached to you if you talk to me.
Why do I feel like Ghislaine Maxwell is having this exact conversation with the Department of Justice right now?
That is a great transition.
That was a smooth transition, Lawrence.
There we go. Now the people are like, finally, less nerd stuff.
Epstein.
More politics.
More politics. More Epstein. That's what we want. That none of us want this. But God damn it, is it going?
It's where we find ourselves. We have to talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm doing my part by making wire memes. I'm going to go through every single character and with the release the files. I'm going to just I'm. What do you guys think? Do you think that I know she's moving for a pardon? I would have
Yes.
Sure.
Or a commutation of her sentence at minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I mean, I'm almost certain she's going to get it. What do you think? Commutation or, time served, or what? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's time served, and some kind of guarantee that if she keeps her mouth shut, that she's immune from any further prosecution for anything, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, because the Trump's DOJ could absolutely make that deal.
Yep. It's the Department of fucking Justice. They have wide latitude in negotiating.
But here's the thing: do you think like Letitia James in New York might take up the cause if that happens? If she might be indicted on state charges, because that's the thing, right? I mean, unless she leaves the country, But
I think. Go ahead, finish, please.
No, that was it. Like I don't really know what she's gonna do, but I know that I know Trump's gonna fold like a cheap suit. Like I know, because there's no way he wants this out, even though it's gonna come down.
The interesting thing is who really has more leverage right now is the question. And because Trump is president, I mean, he's got a ton of fucking leverage. He can literally turn a video camera off for 10 minutes and release something that has edited in Adobe Editor 10 minutes fixed up here and there to look like only a minute is missing of time. That's way longer than that. Like, sus. And then that poor girl who came out and spoke last year and who committed suicide, apparently. Just, what was it, yesterday, the lawyer for Epstein committed suicide. Also, just in time for the release of all the Epstein files. I'm not saying there's a cover-up, but it looks like a cover-up.
I'm not saying there's a cover-up, but I'm just gonna do this. No, I'm not saying there's.
I'm just gonna go like this to the federal government right now because not saying it, but there's something fucked up going on.
Well, yeah. Here's the interesting thing, and I was talking to a buddy of mine, and so do you guys know have you read anything about how the FBI, what they were actually doing when they were looking for Trump's name, like the logistics of it? Have you read about that?
I've read a little bit about it where they didn't really read anybody in correctly. They didn't secure it.
Because they put it all on a shared spreadsheet. They put it on a shared. So here's the thing. So instead of having compartmentalization, right, to where that prevents leaks, where you say, hey, Nick, you go work on this section and then you send that up the chain, but not to me. Lawrence, you go over here and I'm going to work in here. No. We're all going to put our findings all on a shared spreadsheet. So then you can know what I'm working on.
Some shit.
Yeah, so you know what I'm working on and I know what you're working on. And if I ever get pissed off, if I can get pissed off, I could go, wait, Lawrence found this. Let me take that note. Oh, Nick found this. Let me take that note.
I hope this spreadsheet is secure.
Oh yeah, I hope they didn't send it over Signal.
Right.
And again, it's let's see. Are there going to be more leaks? Oh, almost assuredly. Almost assuredly. There are absolutely going to be more leaks. So, yeah, it's just, which is fine. There needs to be more leaks, 100%. But
absolutely,
but there most assuredly will be more.
And is JD the one who's causing the leaks?
Yeah, what he went and met business meeting he took with Murdoch, right?
Yeah,
because Murdoch, the elites are done with Trump. Like they're done. Like,
Mhm.
you know, they're
They're moving
25th.
on to the next stage.
Yep. The 25th Amendment's going to be invoked. That's my hot take for everybody. 25th
Yeah.
Amendment's coming. I think that whole thing
Soon.
was signal that Pete Hegseth, that little barb that came across the way, I think that was not so much to fire him as I'm like, hey, you want to play ball, you better be down with this 25th Amendment that's coming.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. They're getting him on board. And yes, if Vance becomes president, I think Hegseth is out, right? Like it's going to be a house cleaning, don't you think?
I think he's gonna clean some of the house because not enough of his tech bros are in it.
Yeah.
And Don Jr. isn't anywhere to be seen. Eric's not anywhere to be seen.
Yeah.
Where's all the kids at? Like,
Yeah.
what happened to his family?
What
I think they're going to rip the.
Peter
They're
Thiel
going
going to be in charge of?
Yeah,
That's the scary one.
Yeah,
they're gonna the nihilist of death.
Yeah, they're going to rip the Trump family apart. I think, you know, they might.
Mhm.
There might be something that they can you know, say, hey, you can do fundraising here or there. But what I'm curious is when this happens, like, does Trump still have enough juice to like go at them? I don't think. I bet Murdoch. They're thinking he doesn't. It's because of the pet. Because he's a pedophile.
Right. He's a
Because-
pedophile. It's going to come out that he's all, you know, we already know he's all over the files, but there will
The DOJ confirmed it.
Right.
Pam Bondi told him.
In May.
I put that in my poem. I put that in my poem for today.
Well,
that one.
and he's got the whole intravenous insufficiency thing, right? The he's got
the
congestive
cankle
heart
thing.
failure.
Yeah, he's dying.
Right.
And I'm not saying that as he's an old man who's unhealthy and has been for a long time, who's pretty down on the demented side for dementia. Like not like any other type, but the true meaning of like he's got dementia of some sort. Or it seems like it. It looks like he can't remember things. He shifts topics too quickly. He doesn't know names. He doesn't remember anything. Like the man isn't there anymore. He's a shell. And the only thing that I would say maybe not 25th Amendment is because then they reveal their hand and they just let him ride it out because he's a shell and just let him talk nonsense. The problem is doing that, they're going to kill their brand unless the point is to kill the Republican Party, but not the idea behind it. That's the really scary part is the America Party, which is what I actually think J.D. Vance is part of. And I think part of all of this is the coup of the coup, like you're talking about, is when they 25th Amendment him, Trump stops being president until it's over. Like that's what happens when you get 25th Amendment. You are basically not president anymore. You have no power. And J.D. Vance is going to change his party. That's my prediction.
Wow. So technically, when you get 25th Amendmented, you have the ability to appeal it, right? You appeal it to the Congress. And so there is a weird interstitial period where Trump is not the acting president. J.D. Vance is the acting president, but Trump could appeal. And we could end up with an internecine battle between the two where Trump is fighting to hang on. That's the only thing that makes me think they might not go 25th Amendment is it gives him some recourse. And you've seen
because he appeals
appeal anything.
Yeah.
They could pull a Nixon. They could pull a Nixon on him. They could pull a Nixon where it's like he's forced to retire, but they keep everything hush hush. They don't release the files, and
I mean they could pull a JFK too.
Well,
It's not the first time the U.S. government has done shit like that. Like, I'm not advocating for it.
So no, Nick, you have to I know this is our first show, but dude, you can't tease me like that. You can't tease me like that,
brother. I think we're gonna have some good shows together. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun. Oh, I just got
a chill down my spine. I went, whoo.
Just for a special preview for everyone. Tomorrow, Fred and I are gonna go live after Lawrence and Dana's Fucked Up Friday at 10 a.m. Central Time.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So come hang out with us and, just have some shit talk.
Tune in for Fucked Up Friday because it's Dana's birthday, and
tune in for Fucked Up Friday. Hell yeah, because it's awesome.
I don't think the Epstein files are ever going to see the light of day. I just don't. You know,
I think they are, but not in the way we expect. Because I was listening to Aaron Parnes. I was listening to Aaron Parnes talk about it a little bit yesterday, and he's a lawyer. Like, he actually went to school for law, and practiced it. He just became a incredibly good media person. He was talking about it yesterday, was like, some of this stuff isn't ever going to come out because there's still ongoing cases around it, and they can't let it out because of it could tamper with, or it could disrupt the case that's going on. But he was also saying one of the things they could have done or could just do is black out every other name except for Trump's and show exactly where he was and exonerate him.
Yeah.
If they wanted to, if he wasn't in it in a terrible way, which would take thousands of FBI agents and a shared Google Doc, which, by the way, is not how you do InfoSec or intelligence things like that. There's a reason the clearance is called TSSCI, which is top secret compartmentalized information.
Yeah.
Compartmentalized is the big part where it's broken apart. Like the rest of our federal government. Why all of the databases in the rest of our federal government before Doge got to them and handed them over to Palantir, which we need to talk about too, Frederic. I'd love to talk about Palantir tomorrow. I hate them. Hate them.
But I don't understand. I mean, I met two wonderful immigrants from Russia, Yuri and Yorgi, and they just want to know how all this stuff is done. What's the harm in showing them?
What's the harm?
I'm sure
they just gave me 1 million rubles, so what's the harm in it?
What's the harm? Put it in a bathroom and just put a cheap lock on the door. It's fine.
Dude, my biggest fear, Nick, is that they're going to release the files. They're going to redact a bunch of shit. They're going to show like the time that Trump, took Epstein shopping for his house remodel, but they're going to black out all of the negative shit. So it's going to look like he's exonerated, but he's not.
They will. Because they're already floating that in the MAGA space. It's like you're getting this, they're saying, he's in them
for pedophiles.
Yeah, he's in them, but is he a subject of investigation? He could have just been a cooperating witness.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
It's funny how they've so quickly changed their tune from pedophilia is bad and wrong to pedophilia is kind of bad as long as Trump maybe didn't do it. Like, somebody asked Marjorie Taylor Greene that yesterday, like, how do you feel about Trump being in the Epstein files? And her answer was, I don't know. I was like, that's it?
Yep.
You broke Marjorie Taylor Greene.
At least he's honest. I mean,
we broke her, which is what needed to we need to break these people until they finally see the light of day, because it's a cult. I got to break through somehow.
Yeah.
What infuriates me is just like, and this says something about our media, our corporate media space, is Rupert Murdoch could have done this at any time. Any time. And it's the same thing with suddenly we're talking about tariffs after the 2024 election. Before, there was no deep dive about, hey, all this stuff Trump's saying is ludicrous and is going to bankrupt our country.
Right.
And
or it's like suddenly all these things are suddenly coming to resurface. It's like, okay, so these interviews that he gave that they're from the 90s. No one could do a deep dive. There's no research team that could have done and pulled all this up and done an expose on any of this stuff.
In 2020, in 2024.
During all those investigations that were going on and credible accusations from these women. I mean, he's literally credibly charged by definition in New York of, I'll say it as they put it originally, was sexual assault.
Right.
But it was changed
from rape
to the other thing.
He's an
He went
adjudicated
to-
rapist.
He's an adjudicated rapist.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
that's what happened. Like, our president is that.
Let me
Yes.
ask you
That's
guys this. Let
fucking
me ask you
disgusting.
this, because you are two very smart people. I want to know, why do you think all of this is true? Why do you think this is happening? Why do you think that this man, about whom apparently there's abundant evidence, was never worthy of this job? Through 2016, 2020, 2024, why does it look like all of the American oligarchy is conspiring to get him and keep him in power? Why? What is the end game?
I think. Go ahead. I'll let you go, and then I'll jump in.
I definitely want to hear your opinion on this too, because this is cool. I think I have an interesting thought, and I've been talking about this for the last couple of days. I honestly believe this is the Seven Mountain Mandate and the Dominionists coming to fruition, taking their seven mountains and pushing Trump as their figurehead. They have been.
Tell me what that is. I don't know what Seven Mountain is.
Okay, so the Seven Mountain Mandate is a ultra far right, quote unquote, Christian nationalist group. They are also known. Let me pull up my article because I have it still open. They're also known as the New Apostolic Reformation, or Seven Mountain Dominionism. What it is a ultra far right group that was founded in the late or in the 70s. And their seven mandates it's mandates from God. They base their entire viewpoints off of Genesis and Revelation. I'll read the quote from the Bible too that is part of their inspiration. It is Genesis 1:28, where God tells Adam to fill the earth and subdue it, rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, and over every living creature that moves on the ground. Their goal is dominion and apocalypse. They're an apocalypse cult. So their whole entire goal is to take over the seven mountains of life, which are religion, family, education, government, media, arts and entertainment, and business. And so behind the scenes, we have people like Leonard Leo. We have Mike Johnson, who flies a Dominionist flag outside of his office at the Capitol. Trump's faith advisor is a Dominionist as well. All of the media corporate heads who own the media networks are also Dominionists. And I think they're using Trump as a vehicle.
I think Alito's wife is too.
Yeah, and they're using Trump as a vehicle because JD Vance isn't charismatic enough to do it, because JD Vance wasn't Catholic not too long ago, and Catholics have their own form of dominionism as well. Slightly different. It's not part of the NAR or Dominionists on the Christian side, because they don't always get along.
Right. Because they're going to fight
still
after
an
it's over.
apocalypse cult. No, they're not, because they're all going to be raptured. The whole point is to gather all of the Jews into Israel, rebuild the Temple Mount, and start the holy war that brings about the second coming of Jesus.
Okay,
so that they can be raptured.
It's why that's why they really push for the embassy to be from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's one of the
Mike
main.
Huckabee.
The problem with building the third temple on the Temple Mount is that there's already a mosque there. There's a very, very sacred mosque that occupies.
And that's how it would spark a holy war.
A holy war.
That's kind of what they want. They want the holy war. They want an apocalypse so that they can tear everything down and turn what's left into their kingdoms and fiefdoms. It's the tech oligarchy has merged as a alliance of convenience with the far right nationalist Christian groups. The thing is, the tech oligarchy is going to win. They have more money and they're smarter.
And it depends on and getting into this religious stuff, because this is like a fringe kind of thing. And it's definitely among sort of the rich set. For Lawrence is like, some of them believe the rapture is you ascend to the kingdom of God. Others think that God literally comes down on earth, which is closer to Judaism, and establishes the kingdom here. Right. So that's why location. So like Armageddon, it's taken for them. It's taken literally. It's the plains of Armageddon in the Middle East. Right. So, and yeah, there are people that absolutely believe this stuff. and they act on it, and they have their little, societies and stuff like that. But like for myself, I'm not discounting what Nick's saying. That's absolutely, 100% legit. On a more macro scale, part of why this is happening in our media landscape, and I'm one of these people that goes with sort of like what's the laziest thing, and then people that get into habituation. We've had a media that has been more profit centric and more sensationalist centric, and Trump is that person, right? And it's politics is it's no longer boring. It's just this and so that's why we're all exhausted, and that's why we're all tired, right? Because just like our D&D conversation, it used to be political wonks that used to have these like, well, if we actually pass HR 51.5, the 2.7 tax is not quite right. It should be 4.3, and that should actually be a tax on state rather than I would say county. You're going to fall asleep with that crap, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like,
Trump's an entertainer.
Right. I mean, when he met with those African leaders, the people from Senegal, as soon as they're done, he's like, he forgets where he's at, and he's like, is that good for everybody? It's like, I think we did a good job. Like he's on freaking set, like he's talking to actors. Like
that's all they are anyway. That's his
Yeah.
cabinet.
Yeah,
I do agree. Absolutely.
Pete Hegseth got the job because he's photogenic,
Right.
because he looks good on camera.
Right. His audition was Fox News Weekend. Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
And he got up in front of a war board and was just reading a teleprompter, and Trump's like, "That's my guy.
Right.
Like that guy knows war.
He looked good. I like his hair.
He knows war. Why isn't he the Secretary of War or Defense or whatever?
I be as pretty as him. His body is much better than mine. I would like to clone myself into him, but I don't know how. Can you please put it in a picture book for me? Because I cannot read."
It's like, Pete Hegseth is a good-looking guy. Not as good-looking as me when I was younger. I was much better looking.
No one's as
I was
good
much
looking
better
as I
looking.
am.
So much
My
better
head is
looking.
so small.
And if you ask people, I ask people, I say, "Am I still good looking?" And they're like, "Sir, you are absolutely the best looking guy." And I say, "Well, I mean, what am I going to do? Argue?"
I mean, he's 6'4" and 225 with 10% body fat. Come on.
Yeah. Come on, Mike.
You know what? You know what, guys? So am I. So are you.
Me too. Look at this. Me too.
I'm 6'5" and I'm 360. So like I had been 2 something and since I was like 18.
Well, that's close. That's close.
It's like
there's numbers. They don't mean anything.
No, it doesn't.
They're so small. No one's ever seen anything so tiny before.
All right. Let me ask you this. Going on the crazy biblical dominionist thing. Did you see the news from 2 weeks ago where Israel did a test run of the burning the red heifer ceremony? Right. A test run. A test.
Yep. You were talking about this with Opinionated Ogre, right?
Yeah. It freaks me out, right? Like, we're just practicing the ceremony to see how it goes. It's like, okay,
no, you're not.
But you're not going to take those ashes and go try to, purify the Temple Mount with them so that you can rebuild the third temple. That's not
BB. I sure believe you, BB. Like, with all your war crimes and
corruption and genocide.
Nobel Peace Prize nominations for Small Hands Trump doing his thing.
Yeah.
Bombing Iran once. Like, seriously, he countermanded the orders of the generals who said if we're going to do this, we need to do it in waves. Like, do it the right way.
Yep.
Because that's what you do. You do it right. If you're going to knock something out, you do it right. You do it once and you do it right. And we know how to do things like that really well. The military is pretty good at controlled chaos.
I mean,
and that would have been super controlled chaos. Is just 2 or 3 strikes. That's it, man. You just drop bombs on the same spot over and over and it's gone. But no, I wanted to have a big show. It just looks so pretty. My tanks are so squeaky. Whoever did that in the army.
That was really good. That was
the
really
Trump
good.
off because you both kind of got the voice out.
No, he's got it. That one was great. You know, my takes. The squeaky got me. My takes.
My takes is super squeaky.
Whoever that soldier was that did not do that 10-level task, which, by the way, a 10-level task, for anybody who doesn't know, because it's army speak, is that a basic level task. That's like going to college 101 task. That's put on your underwear task. That's change the oil in your car task. And some sergeant major was probably like, nope, don't fucking do that one.
Oh, no, that got down to when, like, yeah, as soon as the word got down, man, when I saw how they were marching,
right.
As soon as I saw it, I went, ooh, this is some shamming. This is shamming.
The Green Berets were out of step. Those motherfuckers know how to march.
I was like, this is, and they're wearing camis and they look like garbage. They're not, because normally there'd be starched all the hell to where they literally would stand up on their own.
For sure.
Like these were just like, somebody just, took an iron, turned it on and went, all right, that's good. So for those of you who don't know,
like the LaCroix of marches.
Yes. So for those of you who don't know what military speak, in the Army, there's a long practice called shamming, right? And it's exactly what it is. It is a sham. You are acting like you are doing something, but you're not. So a classic example of shamming would be, let's say you don't want to do any work. Like one guy I knew, he did a great job.
Typically a bunch of specialists who have a shield on their chest that are the shield protecting you from
they call them the E4 Mafia. They're called the E4 Mafia.
Shield because it protects you from anything.
And so one of the things
I was one of them.
Yeah. Oh, you were part of the E4 Mafia?
Hell yeah, brother. I was part of the I went in.
I was a Marine reservist and I was part of the E3 Mafia. Like that was me.
I got out as an E5.
Oh, there you go. I got out as an E4. They promoted me and I got smart one day and I got a meritorious mass and I was like, damn it. So I got out of the E3 Mafia and they're like, we're going to make you corporal. So for those of you who don't know, like one of the ways you can do that is like you take like a manila like envelope, a piece of paper, and you look very serious, like you've got to get it somewhere. And so anytime you see officers of higher rank, you just start walking a little faster and you look real serious and they think you're on business, but you're not. So and then you go hide out somewhere.
Nice.
And
you
shamming.
Crisply salute them as they're walking by. You're crisp. Like you're like,
yeah, because you got to get this important paper. Colonel must have wrote that. Oh man.
Oh yeah. Or like a small like leather binder of any sort that looks like you're carrying a resume or something. Just carry it under your side sharply, and you're just out of there. Nobody questions you.
Yep, because you're shamming, and that's the thing. So when I saw them marching, I went, "Oh, these boys are shamming in front of the President of the United States. They don't like, dude. The best one.
They didn't give a shit.
None. And the best one was the drone with my man just holding it up. No batteries.
You got the drones. They're so pretty.
Right.
It's just
you got to make the buzzing noise.
I love that when as soon as I saw the drone, I fell out of my chair. I was like, oh my God, no. Oh, I was like, the whole army's just like, this fool's gonna make us march. All right, fine.
Let me hold this drone. I can't salute now, motherfucker. I got this drone in my hand. Wait, I'm gonna hold it with two hands now. Oh, I got a drone. Look at me. I got my drone.
I'm like, the president don't even rate a drone with a battery.
I wish there was a guy next to him holding a fucking Xbox controller, being like, "No, I'm a drone controller."
Like just kind of pointing it up at the drone.
It's like an exhibition show, right? Like, this is what it would look like if we were doing it, but we're not.
Yeah, if we were good at this. Okay, I do have to go. I'm gonna go have a fun afternoon and go swimming.
All right.
Yeah, go for it, man.
That's awesome, man. Frederic, you want to hang out for a minute?
Yeah, I can hang out.
Awesome. It was great talking with y'all. I'll see you again soon, Fred. I'll talk to you tomorrow, and I'll see you tomorrow.
See you guys tomorrow for sure.
Have a good one, man. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks all.
Bye. Oh yeah.
Dude,
No,
what a good
Shamming.
guy. You're gonna have fun with him tomorrow for sure. I
Oh yeah,
knew that
100%.
the two of you would get on like a house on fire.
Hey, so I saw before we went on live, I just want to so our good friend Fusen, like she's going through some things.
Yep.
My man Lawrence posted a GoFundMe. So it's on his page. There it is
dropped it in the chat.
Yeah. I'm not sure what she's going through, but she's good people. So I kicked in a little bit of my last subscription, So whatever it is, I hope she gets through it,
Yeah. Thank you, Frederic. I know she really appreciates it. And so I've been chatting with Fusen and with Lena a little bit. And Fusen had a moment yesterday, and Frederic, you and I have talked about this before. I struggle with depression. I know that you've shared that you also fight that battle. And she was in the middle of it. She was in the thick of it, and she was in one of those places where she couldn't really see her next move or what the way out was, right?
Yeah.
And she tried to self-harm and thankfully did not. And Lena wrote about it. You can read about it on Lena's Substack page. Lena was able to kind of jimmy her way in and make sure that Fusen is safe. And she is safe. And Lena is just a badass and absolutely kick ass and has a solid plan. So so our friend is safe, and she needs time and space to heal. And so with their permission, I set up a GoFundMe, and if people could contribute even just a couple of bucks, it'd really help, because it'll give Fusen a chance to take some time off of work and really focus on her health and her healing. So if you could please do that, would be greatly appreciated. And she's honestly one of the most gifted writers I've ever met. And I think you feel similarly. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and part of what I've done for in entertainment for the past 3 years, working in digital, doing some in traditional, I've helped other writers kind of develop, whether it's, whether their craft or whatever. And you get to where you can spot real talent.
Right.
And it's hard when you're a creator because you don't really see yourself, right? Like some of the pieces that have taken off the most for me or resonated with people, I didn't think was not even close to my best work.
Right.
I recently wrote, I made it paid because I was really nervous about writing about suicide, because it's something I've struggled with for a really long time. That's the other thing I've struggled with for most of my life is, I had D&D, and then I had, it's why I role played so much, because it was like that kind of helped. It helps shift the mindset, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're a paladin rushing through a dungeon, or you're trying to, help the innocent, you're not thinking about ways to self-harm, right? And it kind of, stimulates enough of that dopamine or cortisol or whatever, just like to get your brain, working again. And, I wrote about it, and I never really kind of laid it out there like, hey man, this is what it's like to really have these thoughts, and I didn't think it would be well received, because most of the time when I talk about it straight out, it's like, it freaks people out. Like, because it's just, if you're joking or you're this or that, and then you kind of open up about like, yeah, man, there's times I think about just being done.
Right.
And they're like, and I've met people who are like, I never thought about that, or like, wow, I can't believe you, and it's just, it's a framework I don't have, because I've had this my whole life.
Same.
I've had it my whole life, and I don't envy anyone else that has it. It's not something I would wish on.
Right. Your worst enemy. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's horrible. I just went through it. That's why I wrote that that piece I just went through it this past weekend, because it's just I've had so many things right now, like with my mom, and then like everything in my life is in flux right now. Everything.
Yeah.
And it's just it's a mess. I'll get through it, but I'm always better at like trying to help other people instead of like really trying to help myself, because it's like I don't like focusing on myself. Really don't. I have to, but if somebody else needs help, I'm like, all right, okay, cool. Like,
Yeah.
and I hate that for her, man. I hate that for Fusen. I mean, and because and my your first thought's always, yeah, but she was doing so good, and it's just, but the other side of me is like, well, you know
Right.
how it goes.
Right.
That shit just comes out of nowhere.
And you put on a good face, right? Like I think it's different for different people. So I don't want to project my experience onto anyone else, but I know for me, there's often a period of time where I'm fooling myself in addition to fooling everyone else, right? Where I'm starting to feel those feelings and think those thoughts. And I'm like, oh no, I'm just gonna, pull myself up by my bootstraps a little bit harder, and I'm gonna put on the smiling face, and I'm gonna do the thing. And then there's a morning that comes along where I'm like, I don't fucking want to get out of bed, because I'm not sure I want to be here anymore. And so yeah, I think it can sneak up on you, or you can fake your way through it for a while until you just can't anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly how it is, because it comes slow, right? And there are times that you can kind of turn it back, and so it's not like the best way I could describe it for me is like, you have like this, you're going along, and it's like I got to get this done. I got to get this done. Yeah, man, I'm busy and things are good, and it's just, and it's just like, man, it's a lot. It's like, you just put a gun to your head. You're like, what? Like, where the fuck did that come from?
Right.
Like, no. Mm-mm. No, I'm just, and then, the anxiety starts to quick pick up, right? You're like, nah, all right, I'm just nervous. I got a lot. I'm moving at a fast pace. You're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. Just push through it. And sometimes you can. And then, like you said, it builds, and then it builds, and then it builds. And then, and you think to yourself, I can hang, because there are other times you have hung in there and you were okay.
Right.
But for whatever reason, this time, it's all of a sudden, it's just like all that little weight that just keeps being added on and being added on. It pushes you down.
Yeah.
And then you find yourself slammed to the floor, and you're like, oh God, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm in real trouble, and a lot of people, it's like, well, you can call and you can get help and you can reach out, but you don't, you don't, because your mind at that point is not in the right, it's not in the right place. It's not. You're like, I don't want to bother people with this. Why would anybody want to listen to this? You know what? I was like, man, what's, I mean, people say, hey, you should call your therapist. I'm like, what the hell's talking going to do?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's honestly one of the big reasons I don't date, because it's like, man, I ain't trying to vomit this all over somebody else.
Yeah.
That's not fair to them.
I mean, again, like I don't know your experience, but I definitely get to moments where I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to share it with anyone, because I'm so tired of thinking about it that like I feel boring, right? Like I feel so exhausted with it that I don't want to share it with anyone, because they're going to say like, oh, but what about, oh, it's not that bad. And what, and it's just like, no. It all fucking sucks. And I mean, living in the time we're living in, I'm sure that all ages have been difficult for the people who live through them, but living through the destruction of American democracy feels particularly fucking defeating on many days, right? And like it's an extra piece of bandwidth overload that makes my hope shut down. You know,
I'd be lying if I said, man, it didn't affect me. Even if I contextualize it, even if I can come up with some smart, objective thing. Well, you got to look at this, you got to look at that. Da, da, da. No, it still hits me. You know, I mean, it's just, you know, like the fear of this or what's going to happen here, or like, and then you add on real life. You know, like yesterday, I walked into a meeting. My mom's been struggling with memory care, right?
Yeah.
She's broken out 3 times. Like the kitten is in my house now in this room because she kept trying to give it away or put it outside, you know, because it's a kitten. So the idea we thought that was a good idea wasn't a good idea.
Right.
So now it's, you know, she doesn't want to take care of the cat because he'll jump on the bed and he'll, you know, and so then, but then also you got to take it away. So then there's that problem. So I walk in there and I can already tell the vibe because it's like I'm meeting with 3 women. And like, here's the assistant director, here's the care coordinator, and here's this. I was like, oh, yeah. All right. I was like, and then they give me, well, here's your mom's progress report for the first 30 days, even though I'm going a week early. It's that thick.
Oh, God.
And I go to not infractions, but like, you know, incidents is what they call it. And there's 30 of them. And I've been in operations management. I know how to read a file where it's just like, so I'm skipping to all like, oh, here we go. Here's the meat of it. Set it down. And so they're like, first of all, you know, we want to say that, you know, we really do care about your mom's care, you know, and I'm like,
oh, shit.
I appreciate that. Da, 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 you know, and, you know, it's like, and so then there's a pause. And I said, hey, just lay it on me. Just go ahead. Well, she's been disruptive and da, 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 da. Long story short, we're going to have to up her. I thought, okay, they're going to charge more money. A little bit more. So it went from basic care to enhanced, which is an extra $1,500 a month.
Jesus Christ, Frederic.
Yeah. So it's like I got that dropped on me. So then while I was like, man, I need to go get something to eat. I was like, all right, let me go we'll try to make this up. Right? Let me figure this out. So then I go get me some burrito tacos, you know, a little cerveza, come home. When I'd fed the animals, our dog Rocky, who has a heart murmur, and he's got these pills you got to take. You break them in half for like 5 milligrams, blah, blah. I guess I hadn't put the cat back on, and I had it in the island, and the cat jumped up there and knocked it off. I come and find them scattered all over the place. Put them in. There's only half a bottle when I had a full bottle. I just don't.
Fuck.
And Rocky, unlike the other dog, is the only one that eats anything on the floor. Biscuit's real particular. The other dogs, the rat terrier, she won't eat. So now I got to take him. Put him overnight. I guess it didn't affect him that bad because he has a heart murmur. If he takes too much medication, he can have a heart attack and die, right? That's it. You know, and so I take him. That's another grand, right? On top of the 30 I'm going to end up spending to get to the, like, because I couldn't qualify for a bridge loan, to get to the 90-day, past the 90 days long-term care disability, because, you know, in this country, heaven forbid, we actually help people.
Right.
Which I did a whole piece on that. So, like, I've got a delay in this movie I was trying to put together, and I'm trying to put this together. There's another package and this and this and this, and I'm like, yo, checking out sure sounds good. Checking out sure sounds good, man. I ain't got no more stress. I ain't got no more pain. I ain't got no more, none of that. You know, and that's what you got to, and that's what you're fighting through. And I can't imagine what somebody like Fusen, given who the circumstances she's coming from, and she's still here, is going through.
Right.
And again, we all go through this pain. We all, you know, have it. So, you know, but yeah, I mean, I guess that's just I'm not looking for sympathy, and I'm not looking, it's just, if you're going through this, I understand it. I get it. Because you get walloped so damn much, you're just like, but then I remember how I get through it is like, there's always that voice in my head that's telling me it's going to pass. It's going to pass. It's going to pass. Don't make this decision now because it'll pass. And then it passes. You know?
Yeah.
Because everything turns, right? Everything turns. And that's kind of what I try to do in politics, man. It'll pass. You know? Like, just think 2 months ago when they were doing all this ICE raids and all this stuff, and you thought Trump's unstoppable. Look where we are now.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, honestly, for me, I think back to George W. Bush, right? I remember in 2000, I was so fucking pissed and scared and didn't think we'd be able to live through that administration. And we did. We lived through 8 years of it. I mean, shit got fucked up, but we did make it through, you know? And yes, shit is getting even more fucked up this time around under Trump, but I have to believe in the fundamental resiliency of America and the American people, because I'll lose my mind if I stop listening to that.
Joe Walsh had a note, I think it was today, maybe yesterday. And he was saying, like, you know, he's kind of terrified that people are either too bored or they're not paying attention.
Right.
We'll lose our country, you know, like. And my thing I say this, right? Because the way we talk about it, we always talk about it in monoliths. We always talk about how are we going to get the American people to see this? How are we going to get, you know, this. You're not. It's not about getting a whole thing. It's about enough.
Yeah.
That's life and everything. You need just enough people to see and do something.
Right.
You need just enough effort to get through the day. Because there's going to be days when you're on the ground, you're getting your ass whooped, right? And you can't give that, like, you, on those days, you damn sure better not judge yourself by your best days. You got to judge it by today.
Right.
Do you have enough to get through the day? That's it. That's all you're looking to do.
Well, and the just enough for America is, you know, it's that idea that we just need 3.5% of the population to rise up and say no more of this. And, you know, and that 11.5 million people, or whatever it is, 11 million, 11.5, if we can just get those people to all stand up at the same time and basically say, not in our name, we're not doing this, like, that would be enough.
Yeah. And it's not about, and because so many times, and we do it because we, you know, it's crazy. We focus on the, did you mute before you sneezed? You did? Oh, that's epic. I don't even know how to do that. Like,
there's a little mute button right up here.
I know, but I wouldn't be able to get to it. My fat fingers would be like, bleh.
I've had to do this enough times that I'm like,
well, bless you, and all that other stuff, you know, like, but no, I mean, we focus on, well, you got it, man. You got it. We got to have raw and real. So, no, but like, we focus on the maggots, the crazies, right? We say, oh, how do we stop these? How do we change their minds? Blah, blah. No. We got to get somebody who isn't really paying attention or is persuadable and say, look at this fool. Come help me check this fool. So they don't get their people in power, right? Tell them to sit down with our votes and our activism, right? I don't care about changing their minds. They're gone, right? It's about minimizing the harm they can do, you know, and you do that by outvoting them. You do that by out-organizing them, right? And that's what we need to do. It's about getting enough to our side. We need enough. We don't need everybody. We need enough, you know, and how do we get to enough? And that's it your whole life, is enough effort, enough money, enough, you know, emotional, whatever. It's just about enough to get through the day, to get to the next day, the next day, and the next day. And I have to live my life by that, because at some point that darkness is going to come visit me, and it's going to say, man, you've done enough. You ain't got to be here no more. I was like, No, I ain't done enough yet. I'm sticking around, and that's it. You still muted, fool. I think you still muted because I can't hear you.
Oh, hey, there you go. I said that was very wise, Frederic. That's the wisdom that we needed to hear.
That's it. I mean, that's when you guys are when you're in the trench, man, and you're in that down place. Just try to find enough, and enough's going to change. Some days, you got all the energy you've ever thought more than you ever thought you'd have. You're like, man, I could do more. And other days you ain't got it, and you just need to do enough. Just try to do enough. And if enough that day is just staying here and brushing your teeth and that's it, those days, you're actually at your strongest on those days.
Tell me
really are. Because when you have, when that's not bothering you, right? And you can go out and you do this and you do this and you do this. Okay, that's baseline. That's like when darkness comes, that's like putting a handicap on yourself, right? You put that handicap on yourself, you say, that'd be like, I can walk a mile, no problem, in shorts and a t-shirt. It's like, cool. Can you walk a mile with 100 pounds on your back? How about 150? How about 200?
Right.
When that darkness comes, that's what's happening. It's like, and so if you say, man, on those other days, I could walk a mile and it was no problem. I did that real quick. Well, yeah, you ain't have all this on your back, man. Now, so if you're like, bro, I can only take 6 steps. You had 200 pounds on your back. Good job.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you have to look at it. On those days, that's you train and you prepare for those days. Because when they come and you get through it, you go, I got through it, baby. All right. Let's train for the next one. And that's kind of how I live my life.
Man, that is really good wisdom. I appreciate you sharing that. I don't know that I've ever really looked at it that way before. That, you're kind of in training for the rough days.
That's I'm pretty sure I took that from a Stoic, probably Marcus Aurelius or Epictetus. But that's really what it is all you are is training for those down moments. Like if you're motivated and you can, and it's like, man, I'm so creatively motivated today. Of course you can create.
Yeah.
Right. But if you could write 2 lines when you don't feel like it, if you can make your ass sit down and do 10 minutes and you don't really feel like it, that's better than sitting down for 60 minutes when you really are feeling like it.
Yeah. Yeah, some of our folks just joined. We've got a lot of great people here, but some familiar faces just joined. And so if you are just joining us, we're talking about, Frederic and I both struggle with depression, and we're kind of talking in the context of our friend Fusen, who had a challenge yesterday, and we put together a GoFundMe for her. Just drop the link in the chat, and if you're able, it would be great if you could throw a little help her way so that she can get through this challenging period.
And listen, even if you can't donate money, because look, we all are struggling. You know what I mean? Like, go to her or Lena's article, one of her published pieces, read it.
Right.
Leave a positive comment.
Yeah. Yeah. Restack it.
That's something. You like, if you're like, man, I can't get no money right now. Go read one of their pieces. Right. Tell them how it moved you. Right. Tell them it's like, hey, I really appreciate you I'm glad you're here. Thank you for sharing your story. Something.
Yeah.
Because that'll help too.
I know there are days for me where part of the darkness is I don't feel like I'm having an impact on the world, right? Like that nothing I do matters. And I think if you could go comment on, like Frederic is saying, comment on something that Fusen or Lena have written to express express how much their work has meant to you, that would really mean something in this moment, kind of more than any other time.
Hell, my man Lawrence right here has got a badass fictional series that he's dropping. Like, go read. Read that. Like, I'm waiting to get a little bit of time so I can sit down, with a little wine glass of PBR, and just, I ain't putting in no glass.
Yeah, come on, man.
I ain't putting
you ain't drinking it out of no glass. What are you talking about?
No,
You're drinking it right out of the can, right
That's
out of the bottle.
I'm gonna be like, 2024 vintage.
Oh yes, it's the finest. Our precious beer.
Yes, I'm just like, but that's it, man. Yeah, dude, you absolutely matter. I see you on here all the time, and you writing, and the world's not going to be the same without you in it. Period.
Well, I appreciate that, and right back at you. One of the big gifts of Substack is that people who may not have connected in the real world. I don't know when I was going to get to where are you at? Colorado Springs?
No, I'm between this. I'm in Castle Rock.
Castle Rock, right?
Yeah, between
I
the
don't know.
springs.
Next time I was going through Castle Rock, like some drive past country. How would I have ever connected with you before Substack, right?
Yeah,
and that is one of the big gifts, because we can find each other, and I feel like we're slowly building a tribe of community of like-minded people, and supporting each other through our adventures and through our work. And
absolutely.
Speaking of like-minded people, there's Dana Dubois, my lovely partner in crime, who I'm blessed and lucky to, have started this Gen Xy thing with. So
yeah,
Dana's like, where'd Nick go? What's happening?
Right.
Girl, we've been talking.
We have been talking. Like, I tell you, man, women on Substack who are writers are some of the bravest folks I've seen, because the comments and stuff they get, good Lord, I don't even get a tenth of that stuff.
Right.
Like, not even close.
Look at the piece that Dana published the other day. That piece about, about old men ogling her 16-year-old daughter, right? And she publishes it, she's brave enough to read it and share it with people. And now she's got all these red-pilled MAGA yahoos jumping in there and being like, oh, you're not mothering a good mother. You're raising your kids wrong and blah, blah, blah. And, fuck that shit. Fuck that shit.
I was seeing her share some of it. And like I said, I was going through some things. I said, man, if I go there, I'm just going to be mad for like 2 hours. I'm just going to be lighting people up, Because I was mad about one of Fusa's pieces, right?
Yeah.
It's like, because Fusa's like my little sister, like,
right, exactly. Yeah, she's like my little sister or my little sister, exactly.
Yeah, and so she's hit me up. She's like, "Hello, my friend." I'm like, "Oh man, who's bothering you now?" Like, no, but she's nice. Like, she doesn't, and I see the stuff that Dana gets, and I'm just like, I just wish I could find these fools and just slap them.
Right.
Like, just slap the taste right out of their mouth.
Right. Right. Slap them or sit them down and just be like, man, what the fuck? Where do you get off talking to women like that? Like, where did you learn that was okay?
That's the thing I really don't understand, dude. Like, that's just like, that's the thing that just infuriates me to no end, And because honestly, I just this is absolutely anecdotal evidence. Any woman that exists in the online space has to be built of much tougher stuff than I have to be, because I do not deal with at all. Like, not in the same quote. I shouldn't say it all, because I deal with it, but not nearly as much, right? Not nearly as much. It's like, damn, I mean, like I'll write a piece and I'll eventually get some guy. It's like, it's like he'll come out and say something dumb, and it's just usually like one, maybe two,
right?
But yeah, I mean, and it's the thing. I make it a point when I see them teenage girls with their mama, I ogle their mama. That's what I do. I want them to know. And like,
man, you big faker. I know that you are man enough to know how to not ogle people. You can scope a look without being a fucking creep. I know you can. Me too. There are plenty of dudes that I check out that have no fucking idea that I'm checking them out.
I still try to be bold, man. I still got some of that, where it's like I'll give them a look, and then if they look back, I'm like, yeah.
But also, you got sense, right? You've got
because she might, because the mama might be divorced, and I'm like, what's up? Like, I mean, it's like, it's like you. I was like, I see you over here taking your teenage daughter out. You like you being a good mom. It's like, but who's taking care of you, mama? Come on now,
Does that ever work? Tell me now. Tell me the truth.
More often than it should
work, bro.
More often than it should.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, you could say there's hey, listen, man, the bar has been set so damn low, right? Then I mean, it's as long as you don't act awkward or weird, That's the thing. I have actually gotten more numbers. I've gotten more dates by just not even trying. Like I was just talking shit. And it's when I tried, that's when I mess up. Cause it's like I always screw, even with that last one, I always screw it up because I come in too rigid, just too rigid. You come in just like, hello, my name is Frederic. Would you be interested in getting some magazine subscriptions to put me through college? Like, it never works, man. It never works,
Yeah. So Dana's saying in the comments, one guy was like, but I want to talk about important stuff like Trump and democracy, and you're hung up on men looking at your teenager's ass. And Dana says, and I'm like, first of all, I contain multitudes. And second of all, half the population feeling unsafe is important. It is an important topic. Word. And then she says, Frederic, you can ogle me all you want, respectfully, of course.
I'm all about respectful augmentation. It's like I will augmentate, all kinds of women respectfully.
What is augmentation?
Augmentation, yeah. Where you just give them like,
how are you doing?
That's it. It's like, I mean, you just go up to holler at them. It's like, there you go. The thing is, if you get caught, you got to own it. You know what I mean?
Right.
You just
got. I learned that a
it.
long time ago.
You get caught, you got to own it.
Looking at a dude who's not interested in being looked at by another dude. You either gotta you gotta have some ice cold, blood running through your veins to pull that off, or you just gotta fucking own it and be like, hey, no harm, no foul.
Man, it's like, it's just, I mean, yeah, and that's the thing. I'm at that age where it's like, you got the young women out, and they could be in their 20s, man, and it's like, and they got the mom there, and it's like, I want to talk to the mom, you know what I mean? And it's just, and they all on the defensive, where it's just like, this is my daughter. I'm like, okay, baby, I just want to talk to you now. What's up? Is her daddy in the picture? What's up? What's going on?
Man, you are the biggest fucking shit talker.
Hell yeah, you got to be. Got to be, man.
Is her daddy in the picture?
Daddy in the picture, what's up? How's the co-parenting? What's that?
My God.
I don't want to get too much in your business, baby. I just want to know, if you open for business. What? Oh, come on now.
This fool up over here. Ladies, I am sometimes not associated with him, okay?
Hey, listen, it's part of it is just being bold enough to say something, be like, oh my God, what's your name?
I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that on
Yeah, I mean,
time.
you would be surprised how much, because what it does is it kind of shuts off the response. They don't know what to do, right? And so it gives you an opening, and then there it is, It's like
Smooth Talking 101 with Frederic Poag, ladies
that's
and
it.
gentlemen.
It ain't smooth. It's more
Right.
like
It's smooth SMOOVE.
smooth. It's like Duvetine. It feels silky, but it ain't silk, baby.
Right.
It's
Feels like silk,
Duvetine.
but it ain't silk.
It's it. It's Duvetine, baby. It feels like silk, but it ain't silk, baby. Come on now. It's
Morgan
like,
says, I went to ASU. When did you teach there? Apparently that's happening a lot at ASU. That does not surprise me.
hey, I mean, that's a party school. You know what I mean? There you go. So, but that's it. For all the gents out there, if there's any, hey, you just got to step to them. You don't want to give them a line. You just want to talk to them, and because the line is just, if you give them a line, it better be funny. Right. It like, go with funny. Funny always is better.
You could teach a class in this. Karen Attia, who is a columnist for the Washington Post. She's officially the last Black columnist left at the Washington Post.
I saw that. Yeah.
So she has started a school because she was going to teach at Columbia. She was going to teach a class on Black history in America, right? And Columbia shut her down in their Trumpy ways, and they canceled the class. And so she was like, I'm just going to offer this online. She has like 5,000 people on a waiting list to take that class.
I bet she does.
And I bet you could teach Move Talking in an online class.
I like her. I like, because she's, I like my women like I like my coffee, black and bitter. So, no, I'm kidding. She ain't bitter.
She's not bitter.
No, but I like my women like I like my bacon, cut thick. Sorry.
Keep going, man. Hang on, let me hand you a shovel.
Hey, man,
we're talking about respected women. And then Big Country shows up with his shovel.
Hey, that's it. I'll tell these ladies, she said to me, let me hand you a shovel. I was like, that's okay, baby. I'll keep digging until we both hit something we want. Come on now.
It works on many levels.
Exactly. Hey, as long as you can have the snap, you got to have the witty repartee. You know what I mean? You got the witty repartee.
Right.
You laugh.
If you can make them laugh, you're more than halfway there.
That's it. You got to laugh. You can laugh them right out of their pants, man. Like, that's how you got to do it.
Laugh them right out of their pants.
That's it.
A sense of humor is, I can confirm from Gaylandia that a sense of humor is a skill that works over here too.
Yeah. Everybody want to laugh, man. Everybody wants to laugh. Don't take yourself too seriously. Just, yeah. And that's the problem. I get nervous too, right? I see a pretty woman or somebody I'm attracted to. It's like, that's the biggest problem. Like, if I'm like instantly attracted to a woman, like, look, I get nervous and I'm like, oh man. And I more often than not, I fumble that. But when I'm just kind of just relaxed, and I'm telling some jokes, it's like, and then, she's, and I get the signal. It's like, oh my God, you're funny. Like, I'm like, hey now, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually when it works out.
Yeah. What's going on with you, man? I know we got to wrap up soon, but like, you dropped some weight, right?
I think so. I think I'm down 15 pounds or so. I've been walking. Yeah. I've been running, stuff like that.
Well, I mean, you got to trim. Things are looking trimmed and a little bit tanned. You got something going on there.
I've been walking dogs, and I've been, I got a spy right now. For those of you, there we go. Can you see him?
Oh, look at that kid in.
Look at that guy. Can you see him?
What's that?
That's Momos. Look at that guy. Yeah, you on camera. You on the live. You have to earn your keep.
Dance, monkey, dance.
But yeah, man, I'm walking dogs, and I got a rowing machine. I've been trying to get back on it.
Nice.
Just trying to eat a little better.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I kind of have told everybody, like, I got diagnosed with diabetes, like 6 weeks ago. I'm on the Manjaro stuff, and I've been eating like keto Mediterranean kind of, and man, I'm feeling great. Like, shit's tightening up, and I've dropped close to 30 pounds so far.
Dude,
so
heck yeah, bro, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think like 10 of it was the beard, just getting rid of that was just
I'm getting the Peyton Manning forehead now, like it's just getting to be like insanely big.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I mean, I'm trying to make that like an attractive feature, for the ladies. It's like, I mean, there you go. Big forehead,
big brain.
There you go. Would you like to talk about D&D, Stoicism, or Marxist theory?
Have you spent any time reading Marx?
It's actually the Marx Engels reader in the historiography section that's most enjoyable to myself. Right after I read Immanuel Kant's Critique of Pure Reason.
Right. Well, what is your favorite philosopher?
Oh, you're a monist? I like Spinoza. Oh, I'm sorry. That's what I thought you meant. I thought that's what you meant when you said you wanted to moan. I thought you meant you were a monist.
Spinoza. All right. With the deep philosophy cuts. Here we go.
This is what happens when you got a double degree in philosophy with emphasis in religious studies and history. And I went to a small regional college in East Tennessee, and the two departments because it's interesting because there was a woman that wrote a piece about how Ivy League doesn't teach you to think, and I was like, oh, both my degrees did. Like, you literally, before you can get into the higher courses for philosophy, you have practical reasoning where we learn like basic logic, where all the fallacies, all the, like logic structure, everything, if, this, then, present, all that, whole semester on it. And then when my junior year for history, it was a specially crafted course by Dr. Mel Page, who had a dual doctorate, I think for Princeton, in economics and history. And so he basically taught us how to do historical research. Like, that's the entire class. And then after that, any paper you wrote was expected to be from mostly primary sources, Damn. And this is undergraduate work, right? And so, I get out in the world and, I was like, oh, I didn't start using primary sources till like graduate school. Like, what? Like, I was using them junior year. Like, what are you talking about? And where'd you go? ETSU? Never heard of it. Dude, so it's like all these.
It's the Ivy League of the Tennessee University system.
Yeah, and it's funny because like CRT, liberal theory, feminist theory, Marxist theory, I studied all that in undergraduate, right? So it's like I knew who Charles Beard was, all these things, all these prominent American historians, European historians, and on top of that, because I was trying to get out of all the social conditioning from the evangelicals in East Tennessee, I also studied biblical scholarship. So when he's talking about Dominionists, I'm like, yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah, it's interesting because I did not study anything like that in college. I was, medieval English literature, so ask me about Chaucer. But and also growing up Jewish in this country, there are certain ways in which I am not plugged into like the Christianist fabric of this nation, because the whole dominionist thing that y'all were talking about, like I did not know any of that.
That really didn't start until about the 1970s. And so there's some interconnectedness there. And it really depends on how much weight you give it, because it's not an Illuminati conspiracy level kind of thing where you like everybody in government's part of this, right? It's just sort of a certain select that are like, they talk about the 7 mountains, and, it's kind of like one of those weird sort of clubs,
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely not in line with the tech bros. It came out of the religious revival that was sort of an answer to, or I should say a response to, the sexual revolution in the 70s, mostly women's liberation, because you got to remember, all that stuff was, besides the Stonewall riots and everything else, is, 72, you're talking, Roe v. Wade, you're talking the equal, I can't remember what it's called. They're not Title IX, but the other one that gave women, where they could get credit cards and mortgages that are in their own name, because that happened in the 70s.
Right.
So this is coming. That is a direct result of, like, oh dear God, the feminists and the gays are going to take over. They're going to burn the Bibles, and so, which then leads to the moral majority under Reagan. And so, to really kind of understand where that fits in, is really what you're talking about is the last part of the Reagan coalition. All right. And even that was too much for a lot of Christians, because it's like, Jerry Falwell and all that kind of stuff is just, it's fascinating. They're all nuts and sex perverts.
Right.
Like,
They're all probably in the Epstein files. I mean,
how
far back
they have their own files, man. Like, those folks are boom. But like, just, it's part of that sort of movement conservatism that, like, because the thing about Christianity in America, it was really fractured until Reagan and Falwell, and that's just mass communication kind of brought some of that together.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating topic if you really want to get into cults. There's a book, I wish I could remember the woman's name. She just wrote it. I think it's called John Wayne and Jesus. So if you really want to look into that topic and how we sort of got here, I think it's called John Wayne and Jesus. It's a good book if you really want to. Yeah, it's a more modern. I think it was released like 2 years ago, so it's very updated.
Yeah, I'll check that out. I mean, my experience, again, like growing up as a Jewish kid in this country, was, I remember kind of learning through my parents and kind of other stuff about, like, oh, there isn't one Christianity, like there's like 1,000 different variations, and then kind of getting into Martin Luther and the schism in the church and
Council of Trent, all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly, and I remember that blowing my mind, right? Of like, oh, well, they all believe this fundamentally same thing, but not really. Ask me about transubstantiation, like, it's just yeah.
Or if you believe in early Greek Orthodoxy, where they thought Jesus was a hologram on earth and not here in the flesh, like, there was that early theologian argument. There was a woman. So, like, there was the writings of Origen. Origen was interesting. He was one of the early church fathers who was deemed heretical because he believed in reincarnation, and he also postulated that even the devil would be redeemed at some point by God, right?
Hmm.
So, and then there was another woman, I'm sure she's a saint now, but she was murdered by a mob. She was one of the early church theologians. And of course, she was murdered by a mob, and they cut her to death with seashells.
Jesus.
Yeah. It was in Alexandria. Like, so I wish I could remember her name, but I think she got canonized by the Catholic Church later, like, as a saint.
I gotta say, as a storyteller, the story arc of Satan being eventually being redeemed and reunited with God, that's a great fucking story arc.
Honestly, if you want a more uplifting, if you're looking at early church stuff, Origen, Origin, the writings of Origen, you can probably find them online. And it's fascinating. Some of the early scholars, like, we're talking biblical scholarship when it goes into historical, like Bart Ehrman, who was a preeminent scholar at the University of North Carolina, the preeminent scholar in the field. And he talks about, like, how much the Bible is, like, accurate, and how much, because we don't have the autograph. We're like so many we're insanely removed from it and how it came about.
Right.
He believes somebody like Jesus existed, that Jesus was probably his, like, because there's three arguments. There's either Jesus existed as a person, right? He was an amalgamation of different Jesus of Nazareth, because there was about 36 running around Judea at that time named Jesus of Nazareth.
Yeah.
And the other one is they didn't exist at all, which is kind of the minority, but Jesus was made up later, right? But that's more of the minority scholarship in for biblical scholarship.
I mean, I'll tell you that, like, Dana and I have talked a lot about kind of Jewish indoctrination and sort of the worldview that, like, either purposely or inadvertently gets imparted to young Jewish people growing up in this country. And the Jesus didn't exist school of thought is, I think, I don't know if it's predominant, but it is dominant in Jewish theology, I think, because in Judaism, the whole idea is that yes, the Messiah is coming, he just hasn't been here yet, right? And like the break there, between Christianity and Judaism is like, no, our guy already showed up. His name was Jesus, and those folks are Christians. And no, like, he didn't exist. Our guy hasn't shown up yet. We're waiting for him.
Yeah, there's like for the scholars, they take out the whether he was the Messiah or like any of those theological questions.
Yeah.
Some tackle them, but really for biblical scholarship, it's not really, that's not what you're concerned with. You're talking about who was historical Jesus, right? Like, who was this person? And like the earliest accounts we have of like Christians being talked about as a sect are in Trajan's reign. Like, the emperor asked about him, and somebody said, "Yeah, there's this sect that they follow this guy Jesus, over here, and they tend to cause trouble in town. They disrupt the polis, but they're really just kind of a cult." And there were some misnomers about them. The Romans thought they were a cannibal cult because of the Eucharist. They heard about, like, oh, they're imbibing the flesh. They're like, what? They're doing what? So really, it's about piecing together, like, who was Jesus, and like when, like, how much of the Bible actually, because there's, again, from the closest sources we have, like, and then even what was written first. So there's a concept called Markian priority. So Mark's written first. And so, like, Matthew, they think was written by a Jewish scholar, like a Jewish writer, because it's structured like Jewish lessons in the Talmud.
Right.
And Mark and John, they think were written by a Greek, because the closest we have to the autograph is structured more like a Greek play. And how it's meant to be read. Like, you're actually meant to, like, with Mark and Luke, or not, I'm sorry, Mark and John, like Luke and John, you're supposed to sit down and read them in one sitting.
Oh.
They're meant to be read aloud.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas Matthew and the Sermon on the Mount is meant to be like you would give as a Philistine and give a sermon about. Right. It's meant to be read that way.
Right.
So that's kind of what biblical scholarship's really all about.
As a lit major, I took a class in college which was Old Testament as literature, and it was fascinating to learn about, like, the J scholar and the K scholar. The fact that there were, like, basically different schools of thought, different authorships of different pieces of the information in the Old Testament, and the places where the information conflicts, right? Where you're basically getting the story from two different points of view that are sort of fighting each other in the retelling. And, just thinking about kind of the years of the people who rewrote, who would literally, like, hand it down from scholar to scholar to scholar, and, all of the opportunities for one dude to be like, yeah, I don't like that bit. I'm just, what? I'm not passing that down to the next guy. And
it happened. And it's like, we actually have evidence of that, where it's slightly changed, where maybe a monk that was transcribing it didn't understand that Greek word, or they like you said, they didn't. When you studied that, did you get into the Sumerian myths that influenced the Old Testament.
Oh, absolutely.
Marduk and,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. It was great. It was great.
And the Epic of Gilgamesh, which influenced the story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Influenced the story of Moses. Yep.
Yeah.
And
we've been talking for 2 hours, and
yeah.
as usual, we could talk forever. But thanks for hanging out, man. This was awesome.
Yeah, of course. I needed it, man, and I appreciate you, having me on. So
yeah, absolutely. All right, bro. Thank you. Have a good one. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you, guys. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.